Or they with us.
Yep, this time I didn't even bother with the shot glass and just grabbed the whole bottle. So yes, I'm still reviewing this show for some fucking reason. As you'll recall, episode 3 was possibly the worst thing ever put on television, especially within the Star Wars franchise. So, you can tell I was not exactly excited to see where they'd go from there. Pretty much everything about that last episode, well, caused me to have to drink to get through the reviews. And let me put this out right off the bat. This is not quite as bad as the last episode. But if you think that's praise, you're on the wrong fucking channel. This episode is another disaster, and like you saw with the opening, we have pronouns in Star Wars now. Because that's definitely what this franchise about space wizards was missing. So, does anything else notable happen in this episode? Well, not till the last minute or so, and no, none of it's good, and up to that point, it's basically nothing. This episode is nothing, this show is nothing, good God. Like, okay, last episode, everything that happened was cringe-inducing. There are plenty of moments like that in this episode, trust me, but the rest of the episode, which is about half an hour long, is just boring. Nothing happens. It's a bunch of people going from point A to point B with a lot of boring conversations and a bunch of cringe-worthy dialogue. I do not understand how so many writers of Lucasfilm can't understand how people communicate with one another. I could eat a bowl of alphabet soup and shit out better dialogue than this show has. Nothing makes sense, and it's all base level shit, like it's trying to build character relationships, but it does such a horrible job of it. I don't give a single fuck about any of these losers that we're following throughout the entire show, and that goes for both the heroes and the villains. Because the villains, it's still the twin. Which one is it? Is it May? Is that the evil one? She's walking around with this one idiot who's been here the entire time, the long-haired guy. I've heard people refer to him as Dollar Store Ezra Miller, even though I'm pretty sure Ezra Miller is Dollar Store Ezra Miller. But you know who I'm talking about, who, since he's an idiot and working for the Sith, I'm going to call him Darth Bumblefuck. And we'll get back to him in a little bit, but again, it's just base-level conversations throughout the entire fucking episode. And again, you'd think with an action show like this, there'd be plenty of action. There's about 5 seconds of action that happens at the very end of the episode. So, you know, why don't we just skip to that part? Because out of nowhere, May decides to betray Darth Bumblefuck and turn herself in. No dialogue build-up to that, just on a dime. So, I'm going to take this opportunity to remind you of another character named Reva from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, where she basically did the exact same thing. She has her entire motivation throughout the entire show. She was built up as one of the main villains of the show, but they decided to not make her evil, but her goal is actually to kill Darth Vader for revenge, even though she's done all these horrible things and even tried to kill Luke fucking Skywalker at the end of the show. We're supposed to feel sympathy for her. Yep, this is the funniest thing about this show, and about Lucasfilm as a whole nowadays, is that they're so adamant about pushing diversity everywhere. But anytime they have a character who works for the villains that's a minority woman, they can never stay a villain. Iden Versio in Battlefront 2, she jumps to the rebels not even halfway through the story. Reva's supposed to be a big-time sympathetic character who doesn't really want to work for the Empire, even though that's contradicted around every corner. And now we have this clusterfuck of a show where on a dime she decides to betray her buddy and turn herself in. And I said I'd be getting back to Darth Bumblefuck. Now, if you saw the thumbnail of this video and you haven't seen the show, this is who the big Sith is supposed to be. This guy who has the Kylo Ren looking mask and has a really dumb looking smile across it. Geeks and Gamers refer to him as Smilo Ren. So, yeah, that's basically tells you all you need to know. He's barely been in this show. I think this is the first big... I think we saw him in the distance at the end of the first episode, and that's been it. And I have a strong belief, and apparently Geeks and Gamers thought the same thing when I saw their video, is that Darth Bumblefuck is this smiley-looking fucker. Because you know they're trying to build up a big reveal, and he was conveniently... she conveniently tied him up off-screen, or set a trap for him, so he's being held up by his ankles like a dumbass, off-screen, for this smiley bastard to show up a few minutes later. They're not doing a very good job of hiding it. I would be honestly shocked if that's not the route they went. I've seen so many other people try to give different theories as to who this could be and how it could tie into the prequels, even though they're shitting all over the prequels with this series, while they're shitting on the entire franchise. So, yeah, shots for Cringe. That wasn't enough. Nothing will ever be enough. And I don't know how long it's gonna take for them to actually reveal who this guy is. It'll probably be some big reveal at the end of episode 7 or maybe in episode 8. But here's the thing. These writers have the IQ of a slice of toast. So I don't expect them to come up with anything creative or original. I mean, I guess it matches that all the characters have the IQ of a pile of dirty underwear, so I guess they're writing what they know. They know how to write stupid people, I guess. And this is a really tiny note, but how many fucking Jedi have a yellow lightsaber here? I mean, out of these 6 people here, half of them have a yellow lightsaber. And you know what that tells me? Is that the people who made this show don't understand that the different color lightsabers actually reflect the Jedi who wields them. Most of the time. So that hasn't always matched up with canon. Like, for example, I've heard theories about why Anakin didn't wield a green lightsaber in episode 3, even though he's become more adept to the Force and everything, more than his combat skills, but so that hasn't always matched up, but there's always been a way around it. Like, for example, if you don't know what a purple lightsaber is, it's like a combination between blue and red. It's someone who's able to tap into the dark side without fully succumbing to it, like Mace Windu. He was able to use the ability known as Shatterpoint, which is an innate dark side ability. But he was able to do that without falling all the way to the dark side, unlike Anakin Skywalker, which is why he never had a purple lightsaber after episode 2. But these writers are just saying, give them this color, sure, a bunch of fucking yellow lightsabers, why not? Because again, they don't know, the people who made this show don't know shit about Star Wars. Hell, the actors don't know shit about Star Wars. Yes, I've seen the interview of this clown right here saying multiple times in the same interview that Anakin Skywalker blew up the Death Star. And I've seen so many people defend it, saying it was a slip-up, that he was actually talking that Anakin destroyed the Trade Federation ship, and no, he was obviously talking about the original trilogy and was too stupid to realize it was Luke Skywalker instead of Anakin Skywalker. I don't even understand how you fucked that up. All you have to do is see the original movie once, which tells me that the people in this show and who made the show probably haven't fucking watched Star Wars. And I think we get another shot of Cringe for that. Like I said, that's not going to be enough to get through the entire show. But that's literally all we have for this episode. No, I'm serious. You have the cringy pronouns line, you have nothing happens for 25 minutes, you get a 5-second action sequence where this one Sith Lord is able to push over 6 Jedi at once, because canon be damned. Like, it should be hard enough for a Sith Lord to push 1 Jedi, let alone 6. And people are going to tell me that it's supposed to be building up how powerful this Sith Lord is. Just no. It's the same thing that happened when Obi-Wan fought Vader, where he lifted up all those rocks. There are limitations to the Force. I never liked in this new Disney canon where Jedi and Sith can just, like, completely take a hold of a person with the Force. Like, I assumed a Force push a Jedi or Sith would be difficult enough. It'd be like landing a lucky blow like Darth Maul does to Obi-Wan in Episode 1. But again, that would require these people to do some fucking research before they make a Star Wars show. God forbid they spend 5 minutes looking something up on Google or, actually watching the franchise that they're working on. I mean, people like to bitch about the people who make the MCU films nowadays, but they do their homework. Whether you like the movies or not, they do their homework to try to give as much respect to the source material as possible, with the exception of She-Hulk. But other than that one blemish on the franchise, they at least do their homework. They at least know what they're adapting. So, that's all I got for this one, and we're halfway through.